Hello Internet and welcome back to my Sky Island playthrough. In the last episode we returned from an expedition and were finally able to craft the start of our base. This came in the form of the mouth of the island, which gave us a very small little tiny underground area for us to use for sleeping, things like that. And we did some of the basic just sort of looking at this place and talking about it because it's a cool addition. And I actually had to re-record this intro because it's been probably 10 days since I recorded and I completely forgot everything that we did in that last episode. So everyone, welcome back. Sorry to have deprived you for so long of this series. I've been under the weather, which is always a really unfortunate thing. I go a little stir crazy when I can't record, and it's been over a week since I could record, so let's just, we're going to try our best here. Bear with me as I kind of get back into the groove of things. Yeah, unfortunately, had a cold, had multiple doctor's appointments this week. It just sort of didn't work out to get to this series, but we're going to record one today, and then hopefully we can get back on schedule. So there are many things that we missed in previous episodes that people wanted me to kind of be aware of or to make you aware of. Number one, we did need sand. I said in a previous episode, like, hey, I think we need sand for something, and we absolutely do. Unfortunately, when I made my cheat sheet, I forgot to add all of the infinity requirements, which are the things that will let us craft materials directly on this island. So if we go to materials here, we could make something like I think there's a frame in here, by the way, which we talked about why vehicle work maybe isn't something we're going to do here, but you could spawn a frame as long as you have the infinity ore furniture item. Same for scrap metal, I believe, is infinity ore, and then we could get things like planks if we do the tree and etc. So those infinity items were not, unfortunately, were not on my cheat sheet, so I didn't know we needed these things. Otherwise, for example, we would have grabbed the handful of leaves when we were in the forest, which would have been very easy to do, and I'm pretty sure we even had some and I left them behind because I didn't think we needed them. Same for the ore crucible. We actually have everything for this except for the warp shards, which we could get by deconstructing our lumberjack bag, which I said I would do in the last episode, but then I kind of decided maybe we'll hang on to that for the time being. And then we have the stone source as well, which is what we needed the sand for. We could get lumps of clay by just digging up the Sky Island until we got a few pieces of clay. I don't know if we're going to do that or not. I would rather leave the island kind of unblemished and do this back on like the earth side of things, but I haven't really decided. As for the lumberjack bag, the reason I'm not going to deconstruct it is because it's going to give us, I believe, 5 warp shards, but because we haven't done all the upgrades yet, we don't have any way of obtaining new warp shards. We only have these because we did it prior to the mods update where they were freely given away. So until we upgrade some of these other things, we're not even going to be able to get new ones, so I'm hesitant to deconstruct that bag and then spend those warp shards and then find out later like, oh, well, for the next upgrade of the little cave system or whatever, we need 10 warp shards or whatever, and then we won't be able to get them and we're going to hit a wall. So I haven't decided what to do about all of that yet, but we'll figure that out as we go. Someone else also pointed out that hammers have prying 1 after we spent an entirely too long of a time trying to make a makeshift crowbar in the last episode. And then there were just assorted complaints about how I'm not playing very well, or how people are annoyed that I'm a slow player, all that kind of stuff. So what I wanted to do prior to getting sick and all that stuff was I wanted to have kind of a time-lapse section of this video where I just did stuff around the base, like read books, crafted items, etc. I actually think we're going to do that on camera, mostly because I completely forgot about it, so we're gonna do that. So before we go on our next expedition, one of the things I want is a digging stick. Basically, because we have such short expedition timers now, I think it's really prudent to make things like very self-contained. So I think if we go on an expedition, in the last one I was very concerned like, oh, we're not looting, we're not really making progress, we have all this stuff I want to do, but the reality is with a 2-hour warp pulse thingy, we kind of have to make very small self-contained excursions. So I think if we take a digging stick, for example, and we just go down there and we're like, okay, this run, all I want is the handful of leaves, the soil, the sand, that kind of stuff. And if we just do that, I think we'll be okay. And I'll feel satisfied like, oh, we did something. But if we go down there and we're like, yeah, we're going to clear a whole town, we're going to fight a bunch of zombies, well, that's very unlikely with a 2-hour time limit. So I would like to make this digging stick. I was really really hoping it was fabrication because I would really like to raise our fabrication to, say, skill level 3-ish for crafting purposes. It looks like we have 2 already. I'm not 100% how we got fabrication 2. Maybe we started with it. I don't remember. We're very chilly, which is going to make us slow down when we're crafting. So I would like to raise fab to 3. Survival's already 3, so crafting the digging stick doesn't even do anything for us. Is there anything else with the digging quality? I didn't know we could do wooden shovels. I also didn't know we had wood chiseling quality. That's really interesting. I've wanted more proper woodworking in here for a long time, so that's pretty cool. Now, unfortunately, we don't have anything with the wood chiseling quality, and the reality is that a shovel made of wood is going to take us a long time to make, and it's probably not worth it when we're not going to use digging very often. It is a level 2 digging quality as opposed to level 1 on the digging stick. I don't think that actually makes a difference in the speed of you digging. Like, let's say I go out to dig up a hole, grab the soil, grab the clay, whatever. I don't think it actually affects your time. Maybe it does, but are we really going to spend 11 hours or 3 hours making proper wooden, like, because we maybe could make a wood chisel. Probably not, right? Probably that would require like a forge setup. So if we go to wood sawing quality, no, that's not what we want. Firearm kit. Yeah, so none of the, oh, there we go. 3 wood chiseling quality on the firearm repair kit. Unfortunately, this requires a portable soldering iron. I mean, in addition to other things that we don't have, but I've seen people on Discord asking a lot about the soldering iron and how to get it, because it's apparently, like, I think you can't craft it and you can only find it, and people are frustrated by that. I'm not 100% what the problem is there. So yeah, we're not going to make that. So I would like to make a digging stick, but before we do that, can we craft a table so that we would have a work surface to kind of speed things up? We can, because we brought those wood panels back, although we don't have very many of them. It takes 5 minutes to make a wood table. That's awfully optimistic. Provides a clean surface quality, and because it's furniture, we would have to build it downstairs. We wouldn't be able to build it. I mean, we could build it up there, but we don't want to craft up there, right? We want to craft where we're not getting the constant wind chill. The thing is, I don't know where this room is going to expand to when we do the next upgrade, which again, we should be able to do that upgrade pretty much immediately. That's the miner's cameo. I believe we have everything here except for hinges, which we should be able to easily grab when we're down, like, on Earth's side, including the cardboard box should not really be an issue, but it does just kind of depend where we spawn. Everything else we should have, and that's why we want the digging stick as well, because we need a digging quality of 1. So why don't we bring down some wood materials here? I think they're all on this pile. Nope, just the planks, huh? So we go to advanced inventory and we look for, I mean, I don't even know what all we need. Okay, so we have our 4 wood panels, and what else do we need for the table? We need nails, and then our hammer and saw. I'm not sure when we picked up a sawing quality tool item. I'm not sure which one. I think it's the hacksaw. No, because you don't use the hacksaw. We had it on something else. Let's just type saw. Now, I really need to organize our base as well. Sifting through individual things is a bit frustrating. Yeah, so the reciprocating I can't speak. The reciprocating saw will have both metal cutting and wood sawing qualities, so that's good. And for a construction item, I don't believe it uses charges, so we'll just grab that for the time being and then try to grab our hammer. I promise sometime off camera I will sort all of this so that it's a little bit more organized. We really would prefer to do the miner's cameo first, that way we're not like setting up zones everywhere and then having to transfer them down into the base once we've constructed that. So I would prefer, of course, to just do it kind of all at once would be the best way to do it. Okay, so we have everything that we need to make a table. Let's make it I guess right next to the brazier, because then we could stand kind of up here and still be able to work with the illumination from the brazier once it becomes nighttime and all that stuff, I guess. And that way we're not standing next to it where we're going to get the smoke inhalation all the time. So let's build a table, and hopefully once everything is down here we can just easily drag it to other rooms if we want to move things around. It's too simple to train your fabrication beyond level 2. Yep, expected that. So now we have a crafting table, which will slightly boost our crafting times, and by slightly I mean pretty significantly. I'm not sure. I think I have a document somewhere that says the average crafting time. Yeah, so I'll just show you this here. I copied and pasted this from my old document. I don't know if this is still correct or not. These numbers may have changed slightly, or there may be more things that kind of have added to this. But basically, whenever you craft something, if you're using a work surface, it's going to affect, like by a percentage, what your crafting speed is. So if we're crafting on the ground, that's actually 70% of our normal speed, right? 100% would be normal, and we would be reduced by 30%. It would be a huge time increase. Maybe not huge, but it's a big deal. 30% is significant, is pretty significant. Now, a table is 110%, so we would actually get 40% faster craft times based on that, I believe is how this works. And this is, again, very old. I don't know if this is still correct. Obviously, we would like a workbench would be the best, but a table is the most easily crafted, really easy thing to make and use for crafting. So yeah, so now we have a table which will help us with our crafting times, and we want to make a digging stick. So let's have a look at how we craft that. Digging stick, all we need is a knife, and in this case I think we'll take a plank. It's pretty wasteful to take a plank, but I think we need the sticks for crafting. I think the miner's cameo I think requires a stick, or maybe the infinity tree, but whatever, I don't know how many it requires, so we'll use a plank in this circumstance. So let's grab a plank, which I'm surprised we can fit in our backpack. I thought you had to carry, of course it put it in our lumberjack bag. That makes a lot of sense. So if we pop up here and we just craft the digging stick. Nope, that's the construction menu, dummy. Let's go in and we'll craft a digging stick. This way we have a digging implement until we can find something like, the soldier zombies tend to have those pretty compact, easily carried around excavation tools. I don't remember what they're called. Maybe they're called excavation tools, I just don't remember. So we will craft our digging stick. It is going to take us an hour, and that's because of the carving proficiency specifically we don't have, of course. I haven't really played the game since proficiencies became like a major gameplay element like a year or two ago, so I'm not 100%. They've been expanded a million times, so I'm not sure which are the most valuable or how long it takes to get them or blah blah blah, etc. But I do know that you need the carving proficiency to make a quarterstaff, and a quarterstaff is a pretty great weapon. So if we ever lost our nail bat, it would be something we would want to pursue. Probably getting a quarterstaff with that +3 to hit would be very helpful. And unlike the nail bat or wire, I think we have a barbed wire bat, not a nail bat. This one is actually all bash damage instead of splitting the damage between bash and pierce or cut or whatever. Anyway, none of that matters. Let's craft a digging stick. I was really hoping we would get more done, but that's how I feel in every episode, and people keep telling me to stop worrying about it, so let's not worry about it. Yeah, so I've been really sick this week. I don't know what happened. At first it was just being congested. That thing that everyone experiences where you lay down in bed and like your nostril is closed, and then you roll over on your other side, and then your other side is congested and you can't breathe through your nose anymore. So at first I thought, oh, it's just gonna be kind of annoying. You're just gonna have like a little bit of a nasal problem. And then over time it became more and more clear that I actually was getting like properly ill, sore throat. I lost my voice temporarily. It was really hard to talk, and now I'm back to just sort of being a little congested with the occasional coughing fit. So that's a whole thing. So we have the stick. We're not tired yet. I mean, our bed is made up. I suppose we should grab like our blankets and pillows and things. We definitely brought some of them back with us. I hate not knowing which tile has stuff on it. That's going to be a huge annoyance. There's a pillow, we have our blanket, so we can set up our bed. And as I suspected, this is not permanently lit up. I don't know why I even thought that it was. You can see the light is coming down from above, so it's listed as dark versus... Oh, these are unseen? Is that why my vision is changing? It's unseen. Really, I can't see one tile away? Okay, so we can see in the vision changing here. If we look around, we can actually see the tiles on the kind of cardinal directions are listed as dark, and then the diagonals are listed as very dark. So when we move into the tile that's dark, we suddenly lose our night vision because we're getting light from above, I guess, which is kind of light blinding us, and then when we step into the shadows, we can actually see again. But so our bed is made up. I suspect we have, several more hours before our character actually gets tired. Let's grab a book to read. Again, I would prefer... Actually, let's stand in the middle because I don't know where all the books are. I suppose we should just take all of them down and read through them as you do to see what they have to offer. So, assuming they're all on this tile, let's just look for books. We don't need the World Digest. It's not that tile. So someone told me if you hit the semicolon, it sorts by tile versus type, which is very helpful because I was trying to find that many episodes ago and couldn't figure it out. So here we can go by manuals. It looks like they separate them from for fun novels, which is good news. We'll just hit not comma. Let's hit T to category select all of those. We'll grab all the books, and I think that will be it. Looks like we have Pop Mechanics currently. Doesn't tell me which tile it's on, unfortunately. And honestly, I just don't want to deal with it, so we're just going to pop down here. Let's deposit our books in a corner here. That way we have them, once we need their recipes for crafting, we can be nearby. I don't know if we're going to need a blindfold to sleep. I don't know if the sun will wake us up. I don't think that should be an issue. And we're going to need to haul our wood down here so we have something to burn. Actually, you know what? I think it's probably more prudent to use that lantern that we found. So if we go over here and we look for a lantern, I know it will burn through our batteries, but light batteries are pretty easy to come by, and we're going to get a recharging stuff set up pretty quickly, so I'm not too worried about it. Do you have batteries in you to begin with? No, you don't. Assuming it's light batteries, it'd be really bad if it was medium batteries. Looks like it is in fact a light battery, so let's search and see what our stocks look like, and if it's like terrible, we don't have any, then we'll switch to using fire instead of batteries. So we do have a light disposable that's fully charged, so I think we'll grab that. Actually, we should probably use up some of the low quality kind of crappy ones. How are we going to get rid of garbage on this island? I never really thought about that. Normally I would just drop stuff in the street, but up here it will clutter our base. And I don't think you can drop items over ledges. I don't know, maybe we could just dump them on the earth below and deal with that later. So let's grab a couple batteries here that are disposable because they're not rechargeable, so you know we don't really need them long term. It's not a big deal. So 3 light disposable. Let's use the least first, and we'll just activate the lantern. Not sure how long the charges will last. Pretty cool that you can plug it into your power system. I wonder if these walls are wired as well, by the way. I can't imagine that they are. It's a metal wall. Can we strip these? It would make setting up a base wiring system a lot easier. What is this under? It's under appliances, strip. No, just type wall. You'll find it. No, let's type wall wiring. So we can't do it. Why can't we do it? You can't build that. So I guess we can't reveal the wall wiring in this wall. Maybe it's because we were in the darkness. No, so unfortunately these walls don't actually have wires in them. It looks like we can place them manually, which I didn't know was a thing, but it requires a bunch of duct tape, which honestly, unless we have a really expansive base setup, I think we would just use extension cords. Would be a lot easier than using up all my duct tape and gathering a bunch of copper wire. But maybe that's dumb. Maybe, I mean, you can find copper wire in huge amounts, so probably, you know, just do whatever. But let's turn on our old lantern here. Turn the lamp on. There we go. Lit up. Apparently only about 2 tiles in around us. It's fine. Or 1 tile, literally 1 tile around us. That's okay. So let's read through our books here. I don't know how long it takes to read a book quickly to check their recipes and things. Programmable autopilot, yeah, I don't foresee us needing that. The water wheel, advanced solar panel, yeah, a lot of stuff. But anyway, let's just plow through these because we just want to see what they're capable of teaching us. Yeah, and then in addition to being sick, I had 3 doctor's appointments this week. I'm in the process of changing psych meds, which I don't know if you've ever had to do that. It's not fun to do that. He put me on a new medicine that immediately blew out my pupils. They were enormous. And I drive for a living, so having blown out, like, if you get pulled over and your pupils are the size of your whole eye and your eyes are twitching, the cop's gonna arrest you because you're clearly under the influence of something. It doesn't really matter if it's a psych med or whatever. They still are gonna say, oh, you shouldn't be driving like that. So I stopped taking those pretty immediately, in addition to other more severe side effects. That's just like one thing that happened. So out of all of these, I don't see anything that we actually want. Unfortunately, like the food handling, I don't care. I never cook in this game because there's really not a lot of incentive to cook, which is fine because it's the same thing in real life. Like, you know, what's the difference between good food and bad food? Ultimately, it's just the taste, right? it doesn't really matter. Maybe, you know, it's good for your mental health, but it doesn't actually, it's not like cooking chicken in a different way somehow magically adds new calories to it or anything like that. So it's all mental game, all about morale, which we just don't care about that much. So all these food handling books is a bit disappointing. Same with survival. We actually have survival 3. We started as the backpacker, which I believe gives us a high survival skill. And even if it didn't, it also starts you with, what is it called? Through the Lens or something like that. I don't actually see it in this list, but it's a survival book. So we really didn't need more survival books. Now, thankfully, those things do have recipes in them, so it's not like they're completely worthless. It's just not really what we wanted to see. We already have First Aid 1, so all of those first aid booklets are not going to do anything for us. The big book of first aid is good, but we don't currently need first aid because we have the ability to quickly heal at the statue after every excursion. And then we have piercing weapons and marksmanship. Now, it would be good, I guess, to raise marksmanship because we would like to start using our handgun and actually be able to hit things instead of just taking forever to aim and actually not getting any shots off would be great. Marksmanship itself is the lowest value skill though. So basically when you use a, like if I draw this and we hit the fire button, the things that contribute to this Beretta's aim, so like we have the regular, steady, careful, all that stuff, that's just based on your time that you spend aiming, and there's like a maximum aim depending on the range that you're using and how it kind of splits into regular hits, grazing hits, critical hits, things like that. All of those things are informed by your character's skills, and the main skill is whatever type of weapon it is. So this, in this case, is a handgun, so it uses the handgun skill. I shot my pillow by accident because I accidentally bumped right click and we pulled the trigger. Oh, and I noticed I didn't hear a gunshot. I assume that must mean I still have those earplugs in. No, it just didn't make a sound. That's weird. Okay, I don't know why it didn't make a gunshot sound. Anyway, let's not fuss with that because I shot my pillow. Are you okay, pillow? I'm so sorry. At least it wasn't an anime pillow where I just basically shot an anime character and the internet would riot. Okay, well that was dumb and a waste of a bullet. Oh, there was not even a reason to hit the F button. I don't know what I was trying to illustrate. Basically, it's a combination of our handgun skill and our marksmanship skill. But the actual weapon skill is the most important part. Like, marksmanship is a small addition on top of whatever your main weapon skill is. So marksmanship applies to all of our range skills. Actually, I don't think for throwing, but everything else should be benefiting from marksmanship, but it's not as valuable as a specific weapon skill, but it applies to every weapon category. So marksmanship is fine. We really don't have anything else to read. We could grind our skills, I guess. Looks like we need Fab 3 for the DIY compendium. That's a huge book to get early because it's like tons of recipes and it's a pretty good fabrication book. Looks like we have 2 of them, which I find 2 is our current skill level in fabrication. So we could grind our fab up if we have anything. So if we go to P:(fab, should show us a list of fabrication recipes, and these should be sorted by the skill required. Let's get rid of all those new tags. I don't like that particular system in the game. So we would be looking for anything that's skill level 2 or above would raise our fabrication skill. So it looks like the cutoff is around here. So block and tackle, a lot of these are going to require tools or materials that we don't actually have. Let's look, is there anything? I mean, the easiest way to do this would be to go upstairs and do it near our pile of stuff and have another look, because now we have all the materials around us. So the things we can craft, unfortunately, are not going to be, mostly not things that will raise our skill level. It looks like we can make some ammunition here. Yeah, everything below here is not going to raise our skill. Fab 2 of 2. Does 2 of 2 mean it would raise the skill level to 3? Or does it mean it caps at 2? I don't remember. I feel that's so basic, I should remember that. Anyway, we could make these ammunitions, these darts, these game bolts, arrows, things like that. Looks like I actually have the skill levels, so we get a benefit here because of proficiencies or something. But I guess not, because we don't have the proficiencies. We would fail 60% of the time. That's pretty nuts. Looks like we have all the materials required here. We really need to hold on to the plant fiber. We barely have any super glue, so we couldn't make a lot of these. And then we have things feathers for the fletching here at the end. I guess we apparently have 160 feathers. I have no idea where that came from. We have plastic bags. Yeah, we can make this. It's just we would be very likely to fail, and it takes an hour to make 10 of them. We do have that hand crossbow. I'm pretty sure I finally brought that back with us to base, so it's not like we wouldn't be able to use that ammunition. It's just not something we really necessarily need. I think what we need is more materials. I don't think craft raising skills at this point is really going to happen. So I think we're just going to read our marksmanship book. It's not the most exciting thing in the world. Basically, we're just killing time until we're tired, because I don't want to go on an expedition in the middle of the night. We're going to wait until morning to head back down Earthside. Like I said, I wanted to time lapse this because I wasn't really sure what to do, but I guess we're doing this now. So we'll just read until we get tired here. Yeah, changing psych meds is pretty nuts, because all of them have pretty severe side effects sometimes, and I've been on so many. He actually said, like, hey, we're getting to the point where we don't have more medicine to try and you're still super depressed, so I'm not sure what to do here. He's like, I think we need to maybe transfer you to a different facility where we can actually get you, like, where they have more staff. I don't know what he means by that. I don't know if he means committing me, which would be you know, not something I want to do. I don't think that's what he means, but you know, there's always that in the back of your head. You're like a little worried about stuff like that, but I'm pretty sure he means like trying, like, instead of, because we've exhausted many of the real life medications that are very common and like well documented and all that stuff. So I think what he means is like, hey, maybe we can get you into a clinical study where you could try experimental drugs because it's not working for you. Nothing seems to be working for you. All right, and then of our remaining options here, again, none of these very interesting. I just don't care about food handling. It does open up some basic crafting. Like, you really would like food handling of like 2, because a lot of recipes require 1 or 2 food handling, even though they seem really basic and easy things to craft, they still have a skill requirement in the game. It's so hard for me to care about crafting food items, so I think we would just raise healthcare. Piercing weapons is good to have, because ultimately we probably do pivot to like a spear in the future, but it's just level 1 is so basic and so easy to get. You get that after fighting just a couple of enemies, so I really don't think that that's super valuable. I guess we'll keep raising healthcare. Let's look at our lantern here. How much did you burn in the last little bit of reading? Only like 10 charges. Okay, so this is going to last quite a long time. I'm not too worried about that anymore. All right, let's just read the first aid book. I don't know. We'll get more books in our future excursions, and we'll be able to do more. I would really like to be raising fabrication to 3, but that just doesn't seem viable with the materials that we have currently, so that's unfortunate. But okay, we'll raise healthcare. Just keep it reading. I don't know, and you shouldn't really talk about healthcare on YouTube. People get a little bent out of shape when you mention your mental health, which is always a bummer. I know people in real life generally don't want to be around people who are sad anyway. It's one of those difficult things that I think a lot of us depressed people deal with, where you feel unwanted and like people don't really want to hear those things. So I try to refrain from going too deep, but after like 10 years of therapy, I'm very open about those things, which some people find very off-putting. So let's not make a huge deal about talking about that. Let's look for something to eat here. We are finally tired, so we're going to go to bed here. Let's find those meat pies. Actually, let's just hit the eat menu and see what we get. And then if we hit the semicolon, it should show us tile by tile. Okay, so now I do know that for the future, that will make sorting things a little bit easier. But for now, we're looking for shelf life is the main thing, which looks like those meat pies are in fact the shortest shelf life food that we have. 3 days. I'm not sure why the tortillas get jammed in here ahead of these guys. I guess we're not sorted by shelf life. I'm not sure what it's sorting by right this second. So the other thing is 1 day on the pork and beans. No, those are in a can, so those are sealed. We don't have to worry about that. Everything else pretty long-term food. We do of course have those protein rations. I suppose since we're going to bed, it doesn't actually matter if we get the morale debuff because it'll go away by the time we wake up. So we will eat a protein ration for a nice 400 calories. And then we will eat, I guess, just a couple meat pies, maybe a meat pie. I don't think we need to eat 2 full pies of meat. And then we should have some bottles of water, so I don't have to worry about trying to clean up water or whatever. I did bring that gallon jug back. We can make water as necessary, but we have enough bottles. These should be bottles, right? I wish it told you kind of what it's contained in. It doesn't really matter, but let's see if we can slake our thirst. We are satisfied. We are hydrated. Shouldn't eat and then go to bed, but that's what we're going to do here. We'll just turn off the electric lantern, and I guess we're we're ready for bed. I can't think of anything else we have to do, so let's just go to bed, and in the morning we will go on a new expedition, which we have to properly prepare for. In fact, grab that, there's a casing on the table because I pulled the trigger by mistake. Do we have the digging stick? I'm afraid I'll forget that in the future. Don't set the alarm, sleep as long as you want to. That's my philosophy on life. Well, anyway, the point is we got back to recording these videos, which is really the important part. Not being able to record for a week is like, it makes me actually insane because I sit here and I don't have anything to work on. I finished, my experimental Cataclysm video. I edited all the footage for this series that I already had. So I'm just sitting there. I'm like, what do I even do all day? I can't play games because then I feel guilty that I'm not working. And the only thing I have to work on is editing the novel I wrote last year, which is like 2 months ago it was, which is like really depressing because I'm not happy with my novel either. It just makes me feel inadequate. Like, I'm pretty much your classic like tortured artist type person. Like, every movie you see where there's a writer and he's like just like an ornery, like miserable man who's never happy with his like creation of art. That's me. I'm very unsatisfied with my work all the time, blah blah blah, etc. So looking at that novel just makes me feel inadequate and then very unhappy. So I didn't even work on that this week, so I've been very stir crazy here. So we survived one day in the zombie apocalypse. We apparently day 62, 10:12 a.m. triggered by wake up. We completed an achievement. Hooray! Doesn't actually do anything for us, which is fine. You feel cruddy, maybe you should consider eating a bit healthier. It bothers me that we got that message on literally day 2. We didn't even eat a bunch of garbage yesterday. We had some unhealthy food, I suppose, but we got a full night's sleep. We got vitamins. I think, didn't we eat fruit when we were down Earthside? So we would have got some vitamins. Probably should pop a vitamin though, actually. I believe we brought some with us. Do I have vitamins? I do, so we'll just pop a multivitamin while I'm thinking about it. So we're gonna favorite the digging stick. And that will be something we definitely take with us. We're going to drop this lantern. We don't need that. I don't want to take that by mistake. I think we're going to call the episode there because we've been recording like 40 minutes. I know we didn't get a ton done, but we will go on an expedition in the next episode. That's really the exciting part of this series anyway. That's what we all want to see. That's what I want to be doing personally. The base setup stuff. No one likes organizing a base, right? It's so boring. No one you sift through 30 books trying to find one to read. None of that is exciting to watch. For now, everyone, thank you for watching. I hope to be back in the near future with more of this content, hopefully get back to recording pretty regularly. And me being off, I didn't enjoy being off. Glad to be back. Let's get back into the swing of things. Everyone, thank you for watching. Thanks for being like 15 episodes in the series, by the way. I know the numbers dipped. They're like 1/10 of what they were at the start of the series. And everyone who sticks it out this long, you're like actually the best. You're like the actual fans of the channel. So I'm always very appreciative of those people. So that would be you. Thank you for watching. I, of course, will be back in the near future, and I'll see you next time.